Hello people, just wanted to put something out there that I think might be helpful, because we're all going through really challenging times at the moment, and there are lots of different modalities and therapies and things, and it's like going to the supermarket for one bottle of shampoo and then being completely overwhelmed by the choice. Should I be getting those really expensive ones with all the extra weird ingredients? Or anyway, so I go through my my fair share of ups and downs and challenges and the occasional black hole, but one thing that I found really helpful again and again, and somehow keep forgetting about, and then I hit a massive pothole and suddenly I remember it again, and I'm like, why did I not just carry on using this? But I'm so thankful when I remember it, because it's really one of those things that that genuinely does work. And each time I spiral back round to it, I realise actually it's used in so many ways, in so many different modalities and therapies, and that is the essential component that seems to make things work. Anyway, so basically it's got many names, but one name is mindfulness. But although mindfulness has been really kind of watered down a bit, it's also Tantra. It's also it's used a lot in things like EFT, in things like psychological therapy. Anyway, basically presence, and it's about how to be present with what arises sensation-wise in your body, what's in there. And there's something magical and miraculous about the quality of presence, when it's true presence, when it's a loving, non-judgmental presence. Just like if you're in someone's presence and they're giving you their full attention and their full space, they're holding you in tender, loving presence, just allowing you to be who you are, you naturally relax and become more of yourself. It's like being held in a loving embrace. And I found that most of our suffering, I've heard other people say this too, is actually our resisting what comes up, our fighting and resisting the sensations that come up in our bodies, and sometimes the thoughts that come up in our psyche. I'm a particularly emotional person. I am a double Pisces, and I'm well versed in feeling a lot. So yeah, I guess this is essential life skill, and my life can turn to chaos very quickly, as it often does without this practice. I've practiced Zen meditation as well for quite a bit, and it's the same in all of these different modalities. I've practiced Vipassana, which is cultivating equanimity in the body, in all the different sensations in the body and sharpening the mind. And what else have I practiced? I've practiced EFT, mindfulness, probably loads of other things that I can't think of right now. But basically, it's the same essence of presence that does the magic, and it builds a sort of inner peace and inner confidence and inner resilience, strength, and the ability to be more authentic, because I've been a serial people pleaser. It enables us to be more aware and awake and conscious, make better choices. Anyway, the effects are, the benefits are manifold. So here is my version of it. And I've kind of stealed some of this from a lady who wrote a book, Genevieve something, who wrote a book, Feasting on Magic. She wrote some really good books actually to do with magic. And she does a version of this meditation which is like, it's called the hero's process, because it's about becoming your own hero, because we're all heroes actually. I hear Mariah Carey singing in the background. We've all got heroes within, but they're often, we're heroes in disguise, or we don't realise that we have that sometimes, and we go through our entire lives thinking that we are more of a victim. But actually, if we know how to find the hero, if we know how to search for it, and to shift our identity from victim to hero, and that's a lot easier than you might think. Maybe that's for another video or something, but we can shift just like that into a hero identity and mindset, and therefore behaviour. So this is one way of doing it, and Genevieve quotes Joseph Campbell, who said, "The cave that you most fear to enter holds the treasure that you most want to find, or that you truly seek to find." And basically meaning that our fears and our triggers are actually kind of hiding the treasure. So I like to call this going on a treasure hunt, because when we have resistance to something, when we fear it, there's a lot of energy that gets trapped and it gets kind of locked off, and you could see that energy as gold, really, as treasure. And we end up thinking that we can't face this fear. The more we resist it, the more we subconsciously tell ourselves that we're a victim, that we're not able to face it, that we're not strong enough, and it's too scary, and we're too weak or vulnerable. And in some cases, in extreme cases, that maybe isn't so far off, because sometimes we do need, if it's something massive, sometimes we do need another loving person that we trust to hold space with us and to help guide us through it. But for the most part, we do have the ability within us, we do have the presence within us to face that fear and that sensation. And the presence itself has such an amazing healing quality to it. Like love, basically, it has that quality of love in it. The true unconditional love that helps us to unfurl and relax and let go of fear. It's like the sun radiating, and the shadows can't help but leave, you know. It's that sort of gracious and easy and natural. So in a sense, I like to think of it as a treasure hunt, where there are a few dragons. But dragons, I like dragons, and they can seem really scary, as can, I suppose, snakes. So imagine that this big scary dragon or serpent is guarding this cave of treasure, and you've got to face the dragon. You've got to go into that cave and face the dragon. But actually that dragon is you. It's actually your locked up energy. And it's not as scary as you think. The scariest thing is your fear of facing it. Isn't that funny? So, I've just noticed there's a resistance in me to actually just go to that practice, but it's actually very, very simple. And how best to describe it? So in a book where Mary Magdalene is being channeled, I think it's called Mary Magdalene Revealed. Yeah, pretty sure it is, by Mercedes Kirkle. Mary Magdalene talks about being able to open to fear, that whatever's in your heart that is creating a blockage. She talks about how to open to that and allow yourself to feel that fear fully, because again, it's not the sensation or the fear itself that is the true suffering. It's our fighting it, our resistance to it. Because if you find an uncomfortable sensation and then you literally just try and push it away, it actually just gets bigger, or it just feels more intense. And if you don't believe me, like, have a look in your body. So as Genevieve says, these sensations are nearly always somewhere in your chest, in your belly, or in your throat. Those tend to be the places where things like that get lodged. But it could be somewhere else. And just take 3 deep breaths. And that signals to your body and your mind that there's a change, you know. And you can go in with your eyes closed, maybe, And just have a look around, scan your body, and locate any discomfort. There might be several things. There might be physical pain, tension. See if you can find something that stands out. And as Genevieve says, you'll find that there's probably thoughts that come up, story that comes up about why and how and what. But don't think for now. We have to stay in the sensation in the body to get this work really done. And it's very beautiful. When you realize that the suffering comes from the resistance to feeling these things, the pushing them down, trying to stop them, basically wrestling or fighting with them, then you realize that they are just sensations. They're just sensations in the body. And if you looked at them on a more atomic level, you'd see them very differently. They're just particles of energy taking on a certain resonance for a while. They're temporary. And as I say in Vipassana, they just arise and then pass away if we allow them to. But where they get stuck is where our inner soldier might go, stop, nope. So what Genevieve does is she gets us to say no to that feeling. So just say no to it and try and push it, force it out of your body, and notice if that makes it feel better or worse. Because for me anyway, it makes it feel worse. It really ramps it up. And now just to the sensation, just to the sensation, not to the story, but just to the sensation, and just stay with the sensation. Be really present with it and just say as full a yes to it as you can. Just say yes to the sensation. Maybe just repeat it over and over, and just notice there's usually a relaxation that comes with that, and a softening, and sometimes a releasing. And now here is the real art form, here is the real skill, but it's actually not hard, it's quite simple. And it's where you just go deeper into it and you allow it to wash over you. You allow yourself to fully feel it, not really labeling it necessarily, but just going into it like you would into a cave, and allowing the sensation just to wash over you, knowing that it can't actually harm you and it's on its way out. If you let it, it's on its way through. It's arising and it passes away. It's a temporary thing. But the key to this is the quality of presence that you can sit with. So that quality of presence is really, really what makes the biggest difference and the biggest shift. So in a non-judgmental way, just lovingly observing, just lovingly being present and watching, observing, feeling, witnessing, allowing, opening, breathing, allowing your whole body to feel it if necessary. not trying to change it, but just being present with it. And change happens organically. But your job in a way is to be like the sun, just radiating. Not to make all the shadows disappear, but just radiating. And then the shadows do just naturally fall away, just vanish. And you can use your breath just to keep you anchored in that presence, sticking with it, staying with it on point. And if it's a really big sensation, just make your breath really big too. Just really sort of allow, because breath is like the spirit. It's like it cleanses and it moves and it shifts things. And it breathes life force, chi, and more presence into things. It relaxes, oxygenates, clears out. The breath is a wonderful, wonderful thing. And whatever you're noticing, just be present with it. So again, like, stay with the sensations, because thoughts do arise and you can't really help that. That's part of how it all interacts. But just keep refocusing on the sensation, because that's where your most true work is. The mind can be quite a distraction, and it can lead you off into all kinds of mazes and all different stories and avenues, and that's the long way. And often you get way off course. But the body, it never lies. The body it holds truth and integrity, and the sensation, just the pure sensation, can be all you need, with the light of presence. And you might be feeling, there are too many things coming up. And in that case, just feel how that feels fully. Like, be really present with that. Go fully into that. There might be frustration that you can't do it. So feel that fully. And that's, again, mindfulness. It's whatever is arising is the thing. That's your treasure. And the real treasure is the freedom on the other side of it. That when you shine through these shadows that block the flow of energy in our bodies and in our emotions and in our minds, a great spaciousness is created. You've got more room to move and flow, and you've got more peace, and you've got more balance, and you can be more centered. And just keep practicing this. Like, do it for a few minutes before you get out of bed in the morning, if you can. If you're one of those people like me who hits snooze sometimes, then that's a good time to do it. Just be in the body with the sensations and feel them, because the body holds all the trauma, all the stuff. It all gets stashed in there like clutter. It's body clutter, and it needs to be cleared out. It needs to be released. And the beautiful thing is, like, it's a win-win-win, because the more you do it, the better you get at it. and it just improves every area of your life, really, because, you know, if you're around someone who suddenly triggers you, you can be present with that sensation in your body because you're sort of practicing it and you're getting good at it. So suddenly that overwhelming whatever isn't so bad. It's like you don't get overwhelmed and knocked off center. You can just stay present with it and aware with it. And maybe you've actually been working in your body, and the trigger that used to come up when that person did that thing, you've already been working on it. So the person does the thing and it normally triggers you, and you're finding actually it's not having the same effect on you. So when we do this, it's like you can actually turn it into a treasure hunt. You can go looking like the brave hero into all the caves and the pits of despair. I think that was from the Princess Bride film. Anyway, yeah, you can think, okay, what really blocks my life? Where is my biggest pile of clutter inside? And what do I really struggle with? What am I dreading? What thing really takes me down? And then you can go into that, even if you do a little bit at a time, because actually I meant to say, and I think Genevieve says this as well, that you know, you might find if it is a big thing, like PTSD level thing, you might find that you don't want to go all the way into the cave, but you can just get a bit further in, you know, just take a few more steps. Or you might find that you want to find someone that can accompany you through the cave, you know. But essentially, like with EFT, which is very good for PTSD, emotional freedom technique, EFT, tapping, that is essentially what you're doing. You're learning, and it works on very much the same principle. You're learning to access in your body these stuck emotions, and there is a energy psychology element to it as well, where there's reframing, but the reframing is basically doing the same thing as loving presence. It's accepting, it's loving unconditionally. But I do recommend EFT, especially for PTSD and trauma and things like that. Find an EFT master or someone who's had good experience in using EFT for trauma and PTSD. It's someone local if you can, but it is something that can be done, you know, remotely online, video call. But you can start to have a massive detox and a massive like life clear out, really, emotional clutter clear out. If you just write down or list in your mind some things that really trigger you, really hurt you, really get to you, or really keep you stuck, whether it's, for me, one of my things lately is, well, two major things for me, and you might relate to this. One is suffering and the way the world is at the moment, and you know, I can't watch the news. I don't want to watch the news half the time anyway, because I don't believe that it's as, you know, honest and as truthful and as beneficial as it should be. But there's a lot of horror going on, and that's a lot to process, especially if you're a sensitive person or an empathic kind of person. So I do it in little bits, and I don't want to feel numb to it. That's not what happens. it's not like your heart suddenly flatlines when you see suffering. But it's about stripping back all of the dysfunctional stuff, so that there is just loving presence and awareness and wisdom and intelligence. And from that place, we can really be of benefit. But as I know, and I have fully learned this, if you try and do things with a coming from a place of pain or lack or fear, the fruits of that labor, they're not great. So it's about cultivating that inner peace, that inner sanctuary. And it's not that, if you're a caring person and you're here for helping humanity and the world get to a better place, and Mama Nature, then there is still that loving drive, that passion to do that. But it comes from a place of wisdom in action, rather than more of a, using up a lot of energy and not really getting the results you want, not having that beneficial effect. So that's one of the things. And the other thing for me is chaos and overwhelm. Anyone relate to that? Anxiety and, just having so many things to do, probably not getting enough sleep, the diet not being quite as aligned as it should be to support the body with all that the body has to do. Maybe not getting enough movement or exercise or fun. Like, fun is so important. Play, humor, good humor with love. And if you're a helper like me, a people pleaser as well, then managing all of that, those impulses to just dive in and try and rescue things and rescue people, all of those things, it brings you back into balance and alignment with your true purpose and your true nature, which is all good. Because underneath it all, we are basically love. I've experienced that and getting to that place where you're just that beautiful awareness that has no needs really. That is the real treasure. But takes a while to cultivate that level of freedom and awareness and love. But anyway, folks, I hope this helps, and my love and my heart is with you all through these trying times. But don't forget, through the breakdowns there can be breakthroughs, and often the darkest night is before the dawn, and that's how I kind of feel about it collectively as well at the moment. But we're going to make a breakthrough individually and collectively. And if you bring presence to what you're feeling in your body and don't get wrapped up in the thoughts, and just open and allow yourself to feel, cultivate that presence, that loving presence that maybe, a loving parent, when you feel most loved by somebody, if you've been fortunate enough to feel truly loved by somebody, like you're basking in the glow of their love, their unconditional love, and you know that they truly see you, who you really are, through all the layers and all the masks and all the nonsense, all the human stuff, then it's that kind of quality of presence that I'm talking about, and that is within you. So you can be that for yourself. and that is your true nature. And on that note, I'm going, because I've got to go to work. Blessings to everybody, and yeah, hope this brings you peace.